Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.any-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@any-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. AnyMac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA AnyMac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this, they lob it to him, he taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Vince 2 for 3, he's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
They're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with RJ. I am Steve Risser along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And Week 15 is upon us, and we got a big game to start in Week 15 with the Dallas Cowboys and the Buffalo Bills. Dak Prescott, he's playing MVP-level football. Right now, he is my pick to win the MVP. He has been that good this year. And we got the Buffalo Bills who got a huge win. I know it was a controversial call, but I think it was the right call against the Kansas City Chiefs. So a big game between the two teams. And I think this game is going to be really close, really competitive. I think both quarterbacks are going to play really well. I think Dak's still going to play really good football. I think Josh Allen's going to play really good football. I think it's going to go back and forth. But at the end, I'm going to take the home team here. I'm going to take the home team, the team that needs this game, the team that needs to win this game. Because don't forget, the Bills are the number 11 seed. Number 11 seed in the AFC right now, even though they're 7-6. There's a bunch of 7-6 teams in the AFC. So I think this is going to be a really, really close, really competitive game. But in the end, I am going to take the Bills to beat the Cowboys 27-24. But Justin, can Dak continue to stay hot and get the Cowboys to 11-3?
No, I get the Bills as well in this one, 20-24. The Cowboys, the way their offense has been clicking all year, especially at home, has been unbelievable. But now you're kind of going up to Buffalo. There's a good chance it's going to rain and be windy in those conditions. So I think that might slow down the Cowboys offense a little bit in this one. And, Josh Allen has thrown an interception in 9 straight games, so I could see the Cowboys kind of benefiting off of one of those, scoring a touchdown. But, Bills at home, it's again, you mentioned, they're still the 11th seed. They're right now they haven't won, or they're going to lose most of the tiebreakers right now. So they got to keep winning these games here. And I think the Bills kind of find a way. And I think for the Cowboys too, they got to kind of play from in front to kind of neutralize that Bills pass rush that's been so good, because it feels like with the Bills, when they kind of get behind and you're able to kind of run the football, is when they've struggled this year. So Cowboys get in front. I think they got a good chance in this one.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, if there's you made a good point. The Cowboys get out in front. They do have a good chance. But I just think that I think the Bills got momentum, and I think that I know Dallas is playing really well, but I just think at home the Bills got a lot of momentum after their win last week against Kansas City. And I just think it continues this week. I mean, I think this is going to be a great game between these two teams. I think Josh Allen, because Josh Allen's definitely starting to play better than he was when the Bills were struggling. I think he's definitely the last 3-4 games he started to play a lot better. And I think, we know how well Dak is playing, but yeah, this is another close game coming right down to the wire. And I think that the Bills win. And the thing is now, I think we got to admit both these teams are the Cowboys are clearly Super Bowl contenders with their performance last week. I think the Bills move into that conversation just because of everything going on in the AFC right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Because there's not much. Like the Chiefs right now, they got their issues. I can't trust the Ravens right now. The Bengals are big. Like the team, I think the Browns could win the AFC. I worry about their defense on the road because it's really been bad. Because the way Flacco's been playing, Cleveland's dangerous to that defense. So yeah, it's pretty wide open right now in the AFC. So yeah, the Bills should definitely be in that category right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I think they've played really, really well. I think they played well lately because of late. That Bronco loss because they blew out the Jets and the Philly game. They were winning until the end and they lost, and then they beat Kansas City. So yeah, and I looking through this Bills schedule. If they win this game, there's actually a good chance they could win the AFC East because if you look at their next two games. They got the Chargers and the Patriots, and they play the Dolphins that last week. And if they beat them, they got the tiebreaker. And if you look at the Dolphins schedule after they play the Jets, they got to play the Cowboys at home. They got to go to Baltimore, and they got to play the Bills at home. So if the Bills win this game, I think there is a good chance. It's crazy to say it now because they're 2 games behind the Dolphins, but they're really 1. So if the Bills win this game, there is a good chance they win the AFC East again. Yeah, absolutely. If they can get this one, they should get the Patriots this time. And with Herbert being done for the year, that Chargers team so banged up right now that they should roll in there against the Chargers and win that thing by at least 2 scores. And that would set up a great game with Miami Week 18 if they're going into that play. If the Bills have a chance there to go in there, should be a good one. So yeah, it's crazy to kind of think about that the Bills still have a chance to win this division, but yeah, it makes you kind of think like, if they were able to hang on that game against New England or, the Eagles game, like, the Bills should be in the should be in the driver's seat right now. But yeah, they still got a chance here. And for kind of how bad of a stretch it was there for a bit, yeah, they're still kind of right in the hunt. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Right in the wild card hunt. And there's a very good chance they can win the AFC. So big game on Sunday between these two teams. Should be really exciting. But we will move on to the Monday night game between the Eagles and Seahawks. And both these teams are struggling. The Seahawks, they've lost 4 straight. And the Eagles, they've lost 2 straight. So we got 2 struggling teams on Monday Night Football. They flexed this game too. The Monday night took your Patriots off, rightfully so. Took your Patriots off Monday Night Football. But I mean, I think this is going to be a close, competitive game. I think that the Eagles will be able to move the ball. I think that Seattle will be able to move the ball. But I think that crowd noise in Seattle is going to be the difference here. I think the crowd noise in Seattle is going to be the difference. And I think the Eagles end up losing 3 in a row. I think the back 7 is very questionable. I mean, their offense is still really good, but that back 7 is very questionable. You've seen that defense the last 2 weeks gave up 42 to the Niners, 33 to the Cowboys, and I think they give up at least. I think they give up at least 24 points in this game, even if it's Drew Lock or Geno Smith. I don't care who it is. I think they give up 24 points because of the weapons Seattle has on offense with DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett and Kenneth Walker with the weapons they have on offense. So I think this is a close competitive game, but I'm going to go Seattle here. I'm going to go Seattle to win this 24-23 over the Eagles. But, Justin, can the Eagles bounce back from last week and keep pace with the Cowboys in the NFC East? It's be difficult. I right now have Seattle. I have the Eagles right now 24-21. If Geno does play, I agree with you. I think the Seahawks will knock them off, but I'm anticipating it'll be Lock. I'm not, after kind of suffering that groin injury. But yeah, I think, Seattle's going to be able to have success through the air because that Eagles secondary can't tackle. They've been outgained now in 7 straight games. The Eagles offense, last week, even still in that second half against Dallas, they were driving and they fumbled 3 times the second half. So, their offense still, they're often be able to move the football in this one. Again, I don't still think Hurts is
totally 100% right now. But I think they'll still have success against this poor Seattle defense. But yeah, like the way the Eagles secondary is playing right now with the weapons that Seattle has and DK Metcalf, Tyler Lockett, and Jackson Smith at Jigba, I think Seattle could make this thing very close to be a tough environment going into. And, the Eagles, maybe this extra day kind of helps because, they just look tired the last couple of weeks, but now it is, cross country trip. We'll see. But I think the Eagles, if it is Drew Lock at starting quarterback, I do think the Eagles will pull this one out.
Yeah, I mean, it'll be a close game, and yeah, it's definitely a game the Eagles need. The Eagles need to get back on track because these last two performances, I know they're still they're still obviously still Super Bowl contenders because they're 10-3, but these last two performances have just been really, really bad for the Eagles. They just have been they've been really bad. I mean, the second half of the Niner game and then the Dallas game. So the Eagles definitely need to get back on track, and if they can win this one. I know the Giants have been playing really well, but I don't think they lose the rest of the year. I think if they win this one, there's a good chance they finish 14-3. I mean, they might not get the number 1 seed, but if they win this one, I think there's obviously a really good chance to win the division because Dallas has Buffalo. As we talked about, they have Buffalo this week, and then they got to go to Miami next week. Miami's not playing that great either. So and the Cowboys got Detroit. So the Cowboys schedule is tougher down the stretch. So if the Eagles win this game, I think they got a really good chance to win the division.
Yeah, absolutely, they do. I know the Cardinals have been kind of feisty at times, but that's a team you should take care of at home. And the Giants, the same thing, but that's an Eagles team the last couple of years that have just annihilated the Giants. So yeah, they should be able to kind of take care of business. And
I mean, they haven't faced Tommy DeVito yet, but yeah,
no,
you're right.
They haven't. Yeah, the DeVito magic. Maybe they could steal maybe they'll be able to steal one of those. But yeah, in the way that the Eagles too right now, that's a team that I think would. Is in desperate need of a bye. And obviously if they could get that 1 seed, I think that'd be huge for them. So yeah, I'm with you. So yeah, if they can win, they can find a way to pull out Monday night. Yeah, to get that 1 seed would be pretty huge for them.
Absolutely. Should be an interesting game between the Eagles and Seahawks. So we'll quickly, before we get to Tommy DeVito, we'll quickly run through the Saturday slate of games as we got a matchup in Cincinnati between the Vikings and the Bengals. And I think there's a matchup of two backup quarterbacks. Got Nick Mullins for the Vikings and Jake Browning for the Bengals. But the difference is Jake Browning's actually played really well for the Bengals. They've been scoring over 30 points the last 2 weeks, 34 points the last 2 weeks with Jake Browning. So he's been playing really well for the Bengals. And then for the Vikings, Nick Mullins. I think that's the difference in the game. I think the Vikings defense does keep him in it because the Vikings defense has been playing. And Brian Flores he should get a coaching job. He's done a great. He should be getting a coaching job. He's done a great job this year with it. You never know. We'll get to that. But yeah, he's done a great job with the with the Vikings this year. And but I just think that the Bengals offense is gonna be a little bit too much for the Vikings. I'll take Jake Browning over Nick Mullins. That's why I got the Bengals beating the Vikings 23-17. But Justin, can the Vikings defense carry them to their second win in a row and keep them in that number 6 spot in the NFC?
I wouldn't be surprised, but I got the Bengals as well in this one, 21-16. Yeah, the Vikings, Brian Flores done a great job. They're going to get, if you can get after kind of Jake Browning, make him uncomfortable, I think, they got a good chance in this one. But, Minnesota, I think it's going to be Nick Mullins starting this week for him. Going on the road, I know Dobbs hasn't been great. I don't love Nick Mullins either. So, in the way, so I could see Minnesota kind of staying in this one, but the Bengals too offensively, they've been better. And I think too, having Chase Brown, who's more of he's more of a physical back. I think it's been a kind of nice, kind of change of pace with the Joe Mixon, and their offensive line's been playing better. So yeah, this Bengals team's hard to kind of play better. And yeah, Brian Flores done a heck of a job fixing this defense. And I think, Minnesota's defense will keep them in it, but I do think Jake Browning plays well enough and that Cincinnati wins their third straight game.
Yeah, I think they do. I think they do too. I think they stay in that playoff race in the AFC. Who would have thought, losing Joe Burrow, that they would be in this race? But yeah, Jake Browning's done a really good job taking over for Joe Burrow. Now, staying in the AFC playoff race, we got two teams that are 7-6 meeting up in Indianapolis as we got the Steelers taking on the Colts. And I think this will be another really, really close competitive game. But I'm going to go with the team with the better defense, and I'm going to go with the team with the better coach. I know the Steelers slipped up last week against the Patriots, but I think they bounced back this week. I think the run game of Najee Harris I think Najee Harris is a pretty good game on the ground because the Colts have trouble stopping the run. I do think the Colts run the ball well too, but I think it comes right down to the end. I think it comes right down to the end where the Steelers got to make a play on defense, and they make that play. And I got them going 8-6, and the Colts going to 7-7. I got the Steelers winning this game 24-20 over the Colts. But Justin, can the Colts bounce back this week and get to 8-6?
I'm with you at the Steelers as well, 21-17. This just kind of feels like a game Mike Tomlin wins, coming off like back-to-back embarrassing losses. Like, I think their defense makes a play or two in this one. I think they play a lot better than they did last week. I know they lost T.J. Watt like on the first play of the game there last week. And the Colts defense isn't great, so I think the running game of Warren and Najee Harris is going to have they should have a good game on the ground. And I know Minshew's usually plays better indoors at home. But I do think that the Steelers kind of force a turnover or two there. And I think the Steelers are able to kind of, I think the Steelers just find a way to win an ugly, that's a very low scoring, ugly football game like they usually do. I think they pull it out.
We got the nightcap on Saturday night between the Broncos and Lions. I think this is a good game for a half. But I do think the Lions are going to take over in the second half. I think the biggest difference is going to be that run game. I think that run game is going to be really good. I think Goff's going to bounce back this week, and he's going to throw a couple touchdown passes. Even though the Lions' offense hasn't looked great the last couple of weeks, I think Goff bounces back, throws a couple touchdown passes. And I think that Russell Wilson plays pretty well, but I think he turns the ball over once or twice in this game. I got the Lions getting back on track this week. I got them beating the Broncos 30-20. But, Justin, can Wilson lead the Broncos to their 7th win in 8 games?
I think
seventh win in 8 games. I got it. Yep.
Yeah, I think it's possible there, but I get the Lions as well, 24-21. The way Dan Campbell goes for it on 4th down, he could keep he could very well give the Broncos a nice short field there, because he is reckless there. But I think for the Broncos, they're a team that, I kind of talked about it a little bit last week, like Russell Wilson, and I think that offense, they when they can kind of be able to establish kind of the run game and get up early, because they're 7-1 when they score first this year. If they're able to do that, because the Lions defense has not been great, Jared Goff hasn't played great either the last couple of weeks. Like there's some issues going on right now up there in Detroit. But I do think, Saturday night they do find a way to win this game. I think Wilson does make a mistake or two in this one that the Lions are able to capitalize off of. And I do think Detroit finds a way to win it. I think it's to be a close one. And I get the Lions win 4-21.
Yeah, it definitely is an important game for both teams, and for the Broncos, for the wild card Lions, they got to try to keep pace with the top teams in the NFC. That was a tough loss last week to the Bears, so definitely a big game for both teams, for the Lions and the Broncos on Saturday night. But we got to move on to one of the biggest stories in the NFL, and that is Tommy DeVito. Let me tell you, Monday night, he had the ball in his hands at the end, and he won the game. That's what you're looking for from Tommy DeVito, to have the ball in his hand in a situation like that. You're not looking for games against the Patriots. I know he beat the Patriots. But you're not looking for games against the Patriots. You're looking for situations like that, and Tommy DeVito came through. He did a good job with his legs. He had over 70 yards rushing. He pretty much bailed out Saquon Barkley with that huge fumble. With the game pretty much seemed over, and Saquon had that huge fumble, and then Tommy DeVito bailing them out at the end there. So he did a really good job. And it's been a real good story. It's been a really, really good story for the Giants. And what you've seen from Daboll, you've seen creativity on offense now. I like what I've seen from Daboll these last 3 weeks. Flea flickers, Wildcat. You've seen creativity on offense from Brian Daboll. Brian Daboll's kind of getting back to what he was last year. This year, beginning of the year, he kind of coached conservatively. He's not coaching as conservatively as he was early in the year. So Brian Daboll has done a really good job and has proved that he's clearly the best coach the Giants have had. It's not a high bar to clear, but he's clearly the highest coach, the best coach that the Giants had since Tom Coughlin. And there's a reason that he'll be the Giants coach for the next 4 to 5, at least the next 2 years after this. But for the game against the Saints, let me tell you something about the Saints. The Saints offense it's not that good. They had 7 points in 3 quarters, pretty much 7. I know they got the 14, but they had 7 offensive points in 3.5 quarters against the Panthers. I think the Giants defense, I think they're gonna, because the Saints, they have trouble pushing the ball down the field. I think they're gonna struggle in this game. Yes, Kamara, I think, is gonna get his yards on the ground because the Giants do struggle against the run. But I do think the Giants move the ball in this game. The Saints struggle against the run. I think Saquon has a good game. I think you're going to see more Wildcat, and you're going to see, direct snaps to Saquon and Wan'Dale Robinson. You might see Wan'Dale Robinson at a couple reverses in this game. So I do think the Giants will continue to be creative on offense. I think Tommy DeVito is going to continue to play well too. I think he's going to use his legs. He's going to use his arm. And I think it's either going to come down to two things. Tommy DeVito having the ball in his hands and leading another game-winning drive, or the Giants stopping the Saints, this Giant defense making that big stop against the Saints offense. So I think it comes right down to the wire. But I'm going to go with the Giants. I'm going to go with the Giants here. I'm buying into the hype of Tommy Cutlets. I think the story continues another week. I think the story continues. I got the Giants winning this game over the Saints 23-20. Justin, do you have the story? Are you buying this? Are you buying the Tommy DeVito thing? Do you have the story of Tommy DeVito continuing another week?
Yeah, it's been a great story. Like the with his agent on the field there, with like it looked like a scene out of like The Godfather with the hat on Monday night. They're playing into it. The family with the tailgating, like it's been awesome. It's been awesome to see. It's been like Linsanity, but what, that was almost a decade ago now. It kind of feels like that right now.
The Keys Bros had that comparison on their show yesterday.
Did they? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, like it kind of it's kind of been that type of mojo for him right now. And Rick Pitino invited him courtside Saturday. He needs his good luck. Yeah. Pitino right now the team's a mess. The moment. So yeah, Pitino wants his luck here, but I got the Saints 20-17 in this one. Yeah, I know. I think going down. It's always tough to play down there in the Superdome. And I've been impressed with his legs because, like, last year at Illinois, under, like, Brett Bielema's offense, like, I think he only had, like, 90 rushing yards the whole year. Like, he never really used his legs at all last year. So I've been surprised of, how fast he is. So that's been a surprise. And, yeah, like, with Dable, it has seen it, you mentioned kind of being more aggressive. It kind of, because, feels like, hey, they're at the point where he's got nothing to lose. Like, we're in the beginning of the year, there was kind of some pressure.
Oh, there was a lot of pressure. There was a lot of expectations going into the year, and it felt like he coached that way.
Yeah, and now that they're you're on your third string quarterback. Hey, let's just go out there and be more creative, and it definitely has worked. So it's been a great story. Yeah, like the Saints offense, they only had 270 yards of offense last week, and they got lucky that Carolina just felt like they just kept turning the ball over near like midfield. So I could see the Giants winning this one, but I do think the Saints find a way at home to win this one. It's going to be a tough environment to play in. I got the Saints 20-17.
Yeah, the funny thing with the Giants now, though, is they actually are in it. It's realistic because they're one game out. I know they're in like the 12th wild. I think they're in the 12th wild card position, 12th or 13th, them and the Bears. So, I mean, there's a bunch of teams that are in it. But that's what makes this game. If the Giants want, still, just like last week, if the Giants want any hope of making the playoffs, they have to win this game. This is a must win because they lose this game, they're done. Because then they would have they'd lose the tiebreaker. I know they'd have the tiebreaker with the Packers, but they'd lose the tiebreaker with the Saints, and they'd lose the tiebreaker with Seattle. So if the Giants want any hope of their really slim playoff chances, and they're still slim, even though they're a game out, they're still slim. Seeing how many teams are going to have to leap over, and seeing that they have to play the Eagles twice, they're going to have to win. This is a must win on Sunday against the Saints.
Yeah, absolutely. They got the Eagles twice coming up. You still got the Rams, who they're battling for wild card spot and themselves at the moment. So this is a huge one for the Giants. And if they could find a way, with everything kind of going on and how ugly everything started, like after that Cowboys game where it was 49-17, to beat a Packers team that was playing really, really well. And even though it got dicey there after that Saquon fumble, you kind of, that game felt like it would be over. But yeah, you had a really nice drive. So like with everything going on right now, they can kind of find a way to win another one. It's probably probably not gonna be the Eagles next week on Christmas Day, but it's been an awesome story. And yeah, it's kind of given some juice to the Giants where there was so much coming into the year. And for how bad of a start it was, and with all the injuries and the offensive line play, to kind of have it, somewhat end of the year, kind of like with some juice and with some excitement would be, I know it's not what Giants fans expected, going in. I know you were expecting to go back to the playoffs and all that, but, it's been a fun ride. I would, with the Tommy DeVito stuff, like it's been a really cool story, a really fun ride. So yeah, it's given kind of the Giants some juice, and you see they love playing for that guy. They really
absolutely. And the thing was at 2-8, and when DeVito was starting, we go into that Washington game, there was talk the Giants were going to get the number one pick, Now, who would have thought they'd be 5-8 right now? And the way the team has came together and rallied around Tommy DeVito is outstanding. You saw at the end of the game, him and Dayball hugging after the game-winning field goal. The way this team has came together with Tommy DeVito. That's why I think this thing extends another week, because the Saints are not that good. The Saints are an average to below average team with a below average head coach in Dennis Allen. I know they're in New Orleans, but it's a very winnable game on Sunday. It's definitely the most winnable game they have on the schedule, because we know the Eagles, they're not playing well. They're clearly a better team than the Giants. And then the Rams, you look at the way the Rams are playing, you could argue the Rams, probably out of all the teams competing for a wild card spot, have the highest ceiling, because they've won the Super Bowl and they played with the Ravens last week. So yeah, this is definitely a game the Giants could win, and it's just amazing. It's amazing. It's a really good story because of it's the Jersey kid playing playing in Jersey for the hometown team. It's a great story, and the way he's just brought this team together. It's a Giant fan. It's absolutely been really fun to watch for a season that looked lost 3-4 weeks ago.
Yeah, absolutely. It was definitely looked like a lost cause. Like going into that Washington game. Yeah, coming off that Cowboys just beat down you guys took, and then even the Raider game too was just ugly, and that's not a great Raider team either. And yeah, the way the Washington game, the way that kind of panned out, and how well DeVito played in that game. I know he sacked 9 times, but he looked like an NFL quarterback. I know the New England game was ugly, but yeah, it's brought a lot of kind of juice and the team kind of around them, and yeah, this is kind of the last chance here to kind of compete, because the Eagles are good. It's gonna that's an impossible task there, and with the way the Rams are playing, that's a team they can't win it, but outside of the Niners and right now, I still don't trust the Cowboys. I could see the Rams making a run here in that playoffs. So the Rams are gonna be tough. So it kind of feels like your last chance here to kind of get a win, and if you could somehow win that going into Christmas, probably not gonna be the Eagles, but maybe
it would set up a meaningful Christmas Day game. It would set up. Who would have ever thought it'd be a meaningful game for both teams? If they could win this one, it would set up a meaningful. It would set up Giants Eagles, and that would be a meaningful Christmas Day game. Who would have thought that? Who would have thought that when they were 2-8?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because I know everybody. I picked New England when they played the Giants. I know people kind of love New England because they didn't think Giants had a chance, even for how bad New England's been. So. Yeah, it's been they go into a 4-game winning streak. You're 2 games under 500. Yeah, you lose that potential top 5 pick there, but for the way he's played, it's because a couple weeks ago it looked like that game was going to be meaningless, and now it kind of looks like there's some there would definitely be some expectations of that one. So it would be a huge kind of spot for the Giants there, and put them back on national TV. Fox's ratings would be great too.
Yeah, and to talk about your picks, you have picked against Tommy DeVito every week. I know I picked against him 2 of the last 3 weeks. I'll admit that as a Giants fan. Yeah. But you did pick against Tommy DeVito every week. You picked the Commanders. You obviously picked the Cowboys. You picked the Commanders. You picked the Pats. You picked the Packers. Now you're picking the Saints. So you have not been right in that Tommy DeVito. You appreciated the story, but you still have not picked Tommy DeVito. But it's just as we've said, great story. You could be really, I'd like him. It'd be nice if they won this one, because it would be great to have that Christmas Day game in Philadelphia mean something for the Giants. So it would be great for that. But we got to move on to 2 6-7 teams playing in Green Bay this week as the Packers take on the Bucs. And I think this is going to be a close competitive game. But I think Jordan Love, he didn't play well on Monday night. He did not play well on Monday night. I mean, 2 of those drives. That 10 of those points were kind of given to them on that Saquon fumble and then that fumbled punt. So Jordan Love did not have his best game Monday night against the Giants, but I do think he bounces back this week. I think he has a good game against the Bucs. I do think Baker has a good game as well, but I think this game comes down to the end. Baker last week came through against the Falcons. I don't think he comes through this week. That's why I got the Packers going to 7-7, the Bucs going to 6-8, and I got the Packers winning this game 27-20 over the Bucs. But Justin, can Baker Mayfield get the Bucs back to 500?
No, I get the Packers as well in this one, 23-20. Yeah, mentioned it. Love did not play well. Kind of went back. He's very inaccurate there the other night. So I think the Packers at home here, Matt LaFleur losing his first game in the month of December as a head coach. in Green Bay, 16-1 now. I think, Green Bay's defense will make it tough on Baker. I think, Tampa's going to move the ball. Baker, he made a play last week to kind of win them the football game. But I think the Packers do find a way to bounce back last week. After the tough game last week, I think, the Bucks have, can they get a running game going against a weak Green Bay? Because Green Bay's given up a lot of rushing yards this year. I think they're in the bottom 5 per game giving up rushing yards. So I do think the Packers do enough here at home. I think Love plays well enough in this one. Some of those young wide receivers are starting to kind of step up now. And I do think the Packers at home find a way.
We got an NFC South matchup in Atlanta. We'll stay in the NFC South. We got an NFC South matchup. In Carolina, my bad, in Carolina, as the Falcons take on the Panthers. And I think the Falcons win this game. I do think it's close because I like the way the Panthers have ran the ball since Frank Wright has left. I think they've ran the ball with Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders. They ran for over 200 yards last week against the Saints. I think they do a good job on the ground too. But the difference is I think the Falcons will cash in on their opportunities in the red zone more than the Panthers. I think the Falcons bounced back from last week. I got them going to 7-7. Panthers going to 1-12. I got the Falcons going to 7-7, beating the Panthers 27-19. But Justin, can the Panthers get revenge from week 1?
No, I don't think they will. I got the Falcons this one as well, 16-13. Carolina punted twice on Sunday, both in the first quarter, but they scored 6 points. They just, couple fourth downs, they went for it around midfield. They had a field goal blocked in that one. Like Carolina, the offense been so bad. And I did forget with the forget I mentioned we were talking Giants. Tommy DeVito's got 9 touchdowns already, passing and rushing. That's how many Bryce Young has on the years, 9 touchdowns. So
wow.
That's
crazy.
How bad.
That's crazy. Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah, DeVito already has 9, and he was the number 1 overall pick, and he has only 9 touchdowns. That's crazy.
Yeah. 9 touchdowns and 9 interceptions. It's not been pretty so far for Bryce Young. And this week, again, going up against Atlanta, I think it's to be an ugly football game. I got Atlanta 16-13. I don't think the Panthers offense is going to do much in this one. I think Carolina's defense just keep them in it, gives them a chance to win this football game. But the offense just does not help them out right now. And I do have the Falcons kind of continue to stay in the hunt in the NFC South.
Absolutely. So you got your team facing the Chiefs. This game got flexed off of Monday Night Football. And even worse for Pats fans, they're not on Fox 61 on Sunday either, as the Giants-Saints game will be on Fox 61. Really? Yeah. So it's gotten really bad for them. Even though they won last week, it's gotten really, really bad for the Patriots as the Chiefs travel there to face the Pats. And I think this is the classic get-right game for Kansas City. They've lost 2 tough games. I know people say they got hosed last week. That was the right call. That was the right call. Kentavious Tony. I'm not saying because I'm a Giants fan, and Tony wasn't good for the Giants. Kentavious Tony was clearly offsides. But I think this is the get right game for the Chiefs. I think they're able to, Mahomes able to. The Pats might contain the ground game, but I think the Chiefs will be able to have a big game. Mahomes will have a pretty big game through the air. I think he'll be able to throw a couple touchdown passes. I think they force a couple turnovers for Bailey Zappi. I know the Patriots won last week. But as we all know, they're one of the worst teams in football. I think this is where the Chiefs get right and start to make their push again for the Super Bowl. Because you're looking at their schedule coming up, they have they're all winnable games. Chargers after that, I think it's the Raiders after this, then the Chargers. And then the Bengals. Bengals will be the toughest game. But yeah, this is when the Chiefs make their Super Bowl push. And I think that the Chiefs win this game, and I think they win it easily. I got the Chiefs win it 28-10. Over the Patriots. But Justin, can the Patriots hand the Chiefs their 3rd straight loss?
Be great, but no, I don't see that happening. I get the Chiefs 17-10.
17-10. I mean,
the
that's
Chiefs
a little biased there.
Ball.
That's a little biased there. 17-10.
No, I'm like the Chiefs have outside of they put up 31 against the Raiders, but other than that, their offense the last couple of weeks they haven't been able out of the teens. I think the Patriots defense plays well enough in this one.
You think? Yeah,
they can't.
See.
I'm like, look, yeah, our secondary stinks, but if the wide receivers can't catch the football, it doesn't matter.
Yeah,
unless a Zappi throws 2 interceptions,
that's what I think. I think the Chiefs will have some short fields here in this.
Yeah,
game.
If they do, I could see it being a little bit more scoring, or the Chiefs be able to put up some more points in this one. But I think Zappi does enough to protect the football in this one. And Elliott, he's been good on the ground. Listen,
he had one good game. Okay.
But he hasn't been bad though all year. He's been running hard.
They really haven't used him that much. They've used Stevenson more than him. That's the thing.
Yeah. Now Stevenson's out. But I like the way that Illich ran the football. Like he could have checked out 5 weeks ago, but like he's been one of the guys that's still playing hard out there. I wouldn't mind having him back next year as our number 2 again. I wouldn't mind it. But yeah, I don't think Zappe plays well in this. The Chiefs defense has been playing well. Zappe had a great game last week, but yeah, it's not going to happen again this week. I know people now are like, oh, could Zappe be the franchise guy? It's like, let's relax here a little bit. I got the Chiefs 17-10. I don't think it's going to be, it's going to be another ugly football game. It was nice to kind of see the offense click for the first time. And because I don't think the Panthers are going to win. So another game. So I don't think the Patriots really were going to get the number 1 overall pick anyways at this point. Because just how bad the Panthers have been. So yes, it was nice to watch a competent offense last week, but I don't think that's going to happen again this week.
It definitely did. It definitely did. Oh yeah, I mean, it was the best the Patriots looked on offense pretty much all season last week. I mean, it might have been the best outside of that Bills game. Outside of that Bills game, it was probably the best they looked all season on offense. So yeah, I mean, I just don't think this game's going to be that competitive. Though. I think this is the get right game for the Chiefs. I think they cruise in this game. I think they cruise. I know you're so
confident that in that offense. Look, Mahomes is great, but the wide receivers
are major issue. Yeah, their receiving core is terrible. Katavius Toney is terrible. I mean, I know he's formed a connection with Rashid Rice, but a lot of receivers could look good with Patrick Mahomes, and these receivers are absolutely awful. We remember the Packer game they lost. I mean, Valdez-Scantling couldn't catch a touchdown, so couldn't catch the touchdowns. I mean, not the Packer game, the Eagle game they lost. So yeah, they've lost a lot of close games. It's not as good of a Kansas City team as they've been. It's probably the worst Kansas City team they've had probably since 2017. But it doesn't mean they're not Super Bowl contenders because of the quarterback they have. But yeah, it's hard for me to see it being a 1-score game. Maybe it could be like 20-10. But yeah, you definitely have a point with Kansas City's offense.
Yeah, I think the way the Patriots defense played hard, and with all the injuries they've had, their defense has kept them in it. I know all the rumors going around with Bill. Like maybe there are some distractions right now. I know it sounds like that decision's been made. I know Kern said it on a podcast last night, but then 2 hours later, there was another Patriot reporter saying Tommy Kern's taking it all back and it wasn't accurate. So I have no idea what's going on. So maybe there's some distractions in there, but look, I just unless the Patriots turn over the football 2 or 3 times in Kansas City or in their own territory, I don't really see the Chiefs really driving the field that much against New England. I don't have a ton of confidence right now in those wide receivers that you will catch a football. And if Bill could somehow take Kelsey away or just limit him, I do think the Patriots kind of stay in this one and kind of keep it a 1-score game.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens between these two teams. But you talked about Bill, and I think the big question right here would be: would it be the right move for the Pats to move on from Belichick? And I think absolutely. I think absolutely be the right move. I know there was the current report last night you just brought up, but I think absolutely would be the right move for the Patriots to move on from Belichick, especially as a general manager, because that's the reason why the team is, as we've said so many times over the last 4 years, that's the reason why the team has fallen apart is because of him as a general manager. Yeah, as a head coach, he's still a pretty good head coach, and he probably would get another opportunity if New England let him go or if they parted ways, but I think they have to move on because do you trust Bill Belichick as a general manager? Say you guys have the number 2 pick and take Drake May. Do you trust Bill Belichick to build to get skill guys around Drake May for Drake May to succeed? I don't. As a general manager, I don't. That's why if he wants to continue to be the general manager, I think the Patriots have no choice. They got to move on.
Yeah, I'm with you. I hate to say it because I would love to have Bill still as a head coach because I think that's the thing is we really at this point couldn't do much better with a guy head coach and Bill. But I'm with you. I don't trust him to make that next pick with Drake May and build it around. I'm look, Mac Jones was kind of the big front runner there for Rookie of the Year until Jamar Chase the last couple of weeks 3 years ago kind of took it over. Mac Jones looked like the capable franchise guy for Rookie Year. Okay, we can build off this, and then he broke him. You know,
Yeah.
like Joe Judge.
The Joe Judge Patricia thing was terrible. Then this year it got even worse because I think all those issues kind of. I think that started a rift between Mac and Bill, and I think I don't think they were able to solve it. And it was obvious they couldn't solve the problem with Bill O'Brien. So I think that was really the start that was definitely the start. McDaniels leaving, them hiring Patricia and Judge. That started friction between Mac and Bill, and I just think the offense ever been able to recover since.
Yeah, I think you're right. It just they haven't, and I was going back too with Mac Jones, Alabama. He's had 6 straight years of a new offensive coordinator too, which I don't think has helped either. Like he had 3 different ones at Bama. Now he's had 3 different ones in New England. I know he had O'Brien at Bama, but so he's had him twice. But like a new OC every year, that can't help either because there's different philosophies, there's different voices, there's different, So I don't think that's helped either, that he hasn't been able to really build a rapport either, probably with an OC. But yeah, like I think there was a rip between him and Bill, throughout. And because I don't think, I know it was after the Germany game, like Mac's family or people in his inner circle were kind of bashing the Patriots about how they've kind of, with the offensive coordinator situation with the weapons. So yeah, I don't think the relationship's great there either, and that hasn't helped. So look, it's been unfortunate. After the rookie year, it kind of felt like, he could be the guy, and it's been a downward spiral since. And look, I don't know if he could go be a starter elsewhere, but if he can go to another organization, they kind of fix him. I wouldn't be surprised if he could kind of become somebody else's starting quarterback. I just don't think it's ever going to work out here.
Yeah, it just doesn't seem like it is. The Patriots have too high of a pick for if there is a new coaching staff. The Patriots have too high of a pick for them to fix it. For them to pass on a Drake May for him because he's really not that. I mean, yes, he's been set up to fail, but also he's not that good. So yeah, I think it's definitely over for Mac Jones. And I think it should be over for Bill Belichick. I don't think they should hire Gerard Mayo. I think they should have a brand new voice that has no connection to the organization. They should have a GM that has no connection to the organization. I think you have a new head coach, new GM, new quarterback, because the last 4 years have been an absolute failure for the Patriots. So I think it's new head coach, new GM, new quarterback. You start fresh next year.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you. And it'll show too how much Jonathan Kraft has an input. Like how much does Robert still really own this? Because I think Jonathan's got more of the day-to-day the last couple of years. So we'll see how big of an input he has, or how big, still Robert, if he's still running things. So yeah, I know Mayo stuck around because I think they told him he would get it, but I don't think anybody thought I was gonna get this back. So that's the thing. I kind of mine right now is Brian Flores.
That's a good choice. That's a good choice. I'll take Brian Flores over Gerard Mayo any day because Flores has worked in the organization, and Flores has proven as a head coach, as he did in Miami, to have success. He had 2 or 3 years at Miami. They had winning seasons. Seasons in Miami. The problem was he couldn't get along with Tua, but they had winning seasons in Miami. 2 of those 3 years. So, I think that I think I wouldn't mind Flores either. So I just wouldn't hire Gerard Mayo. I'd want somebody like a Flores. Yes, he's been there, but he's been kind of away from Belichick for a little bit. Or I would just hire somebody completely new.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind either. Like if they didn't go the Flores direction, I wouldn't mind some OC. That's even though that's I think I'd rather probably have an established head coach, or at least somebody that's got the experience. I want, because to have bring in Drake May or Caleb Williams, whoever they do draft that quarterback to kind of, run that system. But yeah, I like Flores kind of right now is my number one. Yeah, what he did with Miami, like that team's supposed to, they ended up winning 5 games this first year. That team people thought, that team may go winless, and they found a way to win 5 games. So yeah, Flores right now is my number one, especially the way he's fixed that Vikings defense. It's been impressive.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens with Belichick. We'll be monitoring that over the next couple of weeks. But we got to go to the Sunday night game between the Ravens and the Jaguars, and I think this game is close. I think that Lamar Jackson has another good game for the Ravens. I think him and Odell and Flowers, I think he's another good game for the Ravens. That 3rd and 17 was a great throw to Zay Flowers there. And I think that Trevor Lawrence has another good game too. I think this game is close and competitive. But again, the difference is I think when the Ravens get in the red zone, they'll score touchdowns. Jags will kick field goals, And I got the Ravens winning this one over the Jaguars. I got the Ravens beating the Jaguars 27-23. But Justin, can Trevor Lawrence help the Ravens end their 2-game losing streak?
No, I get the Ravens as well, 24-20. The Jags haven't played well at home this year. They're 3-4. Playing down in Jacksonville this year. And, Lawrence, they made a couple mistakes last week. I was surprised he played last week. They tried to tough it out, and they lost a tough one in Cleveland last week. But look, I don't think the Ravens defense is that great right now. So I could see Jacksonville being able to, make some plays through the air and have some success. But I don't trust the Jacksonville defense either. And I just think they're 30th right now in pass defense. So I think the Ravens, Lamar Jackson, will make plays through the air. And I do think Baltimore does find a way to go down to Jacksonville and move to 11-3 and kind of stay in that hunt there, trying to get the number 1 seed.
AFC East matchup in Miami as the Jets take on the Dolphins. Jets last week had a good win against Houston. Dolphins had a terrible loss against the Titans. A 27-13 lead with Connecticut's own Will Levis driving them down to twice to win that game. Then that led to a players-only meeting yesterday in Miami. So things in Miami are not great. But luckily for the Dolphins, they get to play the Jets this week. And I just don't think that the Jets have enough offense to keep up with the Dolphins. I think the Jet defense contains this Dolphins offense. I think this is close. This comes down to the end. But I think it's going to be just like how the Raider game did against the Dolphins. I think the ball be in Zach Wilson's hands, and Zach Wilson will turn the ball over. And I'll take the Dolphins here to go 10-4. Jets go to 5-9. I got the Dolphins 20-13 over the Jets. But Justin, can the Jets defense carry them to their second straight win?
I think it's going to be a tough assignment here, but I got the Dolphins 27-16. If Tyreek Hill does not play, I think this is much closer because you could see that offense. That's without Tyreek Hill on the field, Tua kind of looks like his kind of rookie year self. Like, he has not been as good without Tyreek Hill on the field. So he can't go. I do think it's going to be closer, but I think they'll be able to run the football in this. I think they'll be able to run the football in this one because the Jets haven't. I know they were pretty good stopping the run last week, but the Texans right now are just so banged up. Missing a couple offensive weapons, and Stroud got hurt in that game. So I think Miami will have success on the ground, and they were having success Monday night, and they got away from it for whatever reason because that was inexcusable, blowing a 2-touchdown lead with
inexcusable. If you want to be a Super Bowl contender, inexcusable. It's why I question Mike McDaniel. I'm tired of people saying he's a great coach. He's done a good job with Tua. I'll give him that. But stop with this. Mike McDaniel's a great coach, and that proved it last week. And that proved it. And they proved it this week when they had a players-only meeting.
Yeah. Again, he's a great schemer offensively, but
leader of men, like you saw him last week. Here's the thing about Mike McDaniel. I've watched Hard Knocks. When they're winning, he's like, F this, F that, F this, F that. He's all confident. And you saw him when they lost. He wasn't all upset. He just didn't. He doesn't seem like he has the command that the top coaches have in the room. And you could see it last week. You saw it at the end of the game in Hard Knocks. I saw it at the end in his speech at the end of the game. He doesn't have the command that the top coaches have. Yeah,
and that's the problem. Yeah, you got to have that locker room, and you got to kind of. Yeah, that's the problem, and I think that's the problem with. Again, like some of these offensive gurus we see get the head coaching jobs, like they're great at scheming everything up, but it's like when you
have the lead men, like you don't have a John Harbaugh or a Mike Tomlin in that locker room. That's not a John Harbaugh or Mike Tomlin or a Belichick. I'll give you that.
Yeah. One of those guys that can kind of all around just very good. Yeah, knows how to kind of be the leader and lead men, but I don't think he has that, and that's a big issue. And you kind of saw it. Yeah, you mentioned kind of calling everybody out when they win, and it's us against the world mentality. But when you lose, it's not what you want, and that's kind of why I don't believe in this offense team. Look, because I know that when they played the Broncos, they weren't over 500. Now the Broncos are over 500, so that they do have one win against an over 500 team, but that's when the Broncos still were struggling and were a total mess. So they haven't beat anybody great yet. So that's the problem. Like again, this Miami team's got the talent, but I don't love McDaniels. Great offensive schemer, but yes, it's the all around picture there is not great, and that's a big issue. And I think with a lot of these offensive guys get hired that don't pan out. Exactly. It's easy to be the OC and just put everything up on the whiteboard and tell exactly. But Yeah.
When you
in
get
the
that
locker
head
room,
coaching
you got
job, and he's done I'm not saying he's done a bad job.
Oh,
I think
yeah,
he's done a
he's-
pretty good job, but he should not be put in the conversation with like the Mike Tomlins or the Andy
Mm-hmm.
Reeds or the or Kyle Shanahan, like his predecessors. They're putting him like, oh, he's such a genius. He's just like Kyle. No. Stop it with he's just like Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan has won playoff games in this league. Kyle Shanahan has gotten to a Super Bowl. Mike McDaniel hasn't won a playoff game, and he's been lucky to have and McDaniel's been lucky to have the talent he's had on that Dolphin team. So yeah, listen, I'm not totally sold on the head coach yet. I'm not I think the Dolphins might be the most fraudulent team in the NFL right now, and they're going to then that will be proved in the last 3 weeks of the season. And we know they struggled last year in December, so we'll see what happens. It should be interesting. But yeah, just a bad loss for the Dolphins, and we'll see if they bounce back this week. But I tried to push this game as far back as I could, being the Thursday night game. We are not going to spend much time in this game between the Chargers and the Raiders. Obviously, Justin Herbert out for the season for the Chargers. They're going to be starting Easton Stick. You've got the Raiders starting Aiden O'Connell. This should be another ugly, ugly game that, you know what, I'm just going to take the team with the quarterback and more experience. I'm going to go Raiders 16-10. Justin, who you got?
Yeah, I got Raiders this week, 13-10. Yeah, this is going to be an ugly football game. Easton Stick's going to probably struggle. O'Connell hasn't been great. You know, he got sacked 7 times. Khalil Mack had 6 of them. So let's see if the Raiders actually try to double team Khalil Mack this time around. I got the Raiders 13-10.
We got the Bears heading to Cleveland to face the Browns. The Bears have very slim playoff hopes. The Browns had a good win last week over the Browns had a good win last week over
Jacksonville.
Over Jacksonville. So right now they're sitting at 7. One of those 7-6 teams in the AFC. So I think this is a close competitive game. But I'm going to take the Browns defense to make a play at the end against Justin Fields. Justin Fields, again, has been really bad. I know he's played better of late. And the Bears played better of late. The addition of Montez Sweat has been a really good addition. So the Bears played better late, but I think it comes right down to the end where the ball's in Fields' hands and he doesn't get the job done. That's why I got the Browns winning this one 19-14 over the Bears. But Justin, can Fields lead the Bears to their 3rd straight win?
No, I don't think so this week. I got the Browns as well, 17-14. Didn't be an ugly football game, defensive battle. I think Joe Flacco makes enough plays. He's been unbelievable since the last couple of weeks here, since joining Cleveland. And I think, you know, Justin Fields, you know, if the Browns kind of contain their running game, I think they'll be able to kind of pick them off once or twice in this one. I think the way the Bears defense has been playing, I think they will keep them in it. But, you know, the Bears somehow get like a short field. They got to capitalize on it and get 7 points this week. But I get Cleveland win a very low scoring defensive battle.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. That's the kind of game it's going to be in Cleveland on Sunday. So we got a matchup in Tennessee between the Texans and the Titans. And I think this. I'll change my pick if C.J. Stroud plays. He's still in concussion protocol. But if Davis Mills plays, I think the Titans win this game. I think that Will Levis does enough to win this game. I think he does enough to win it. I really liked his performance last week. And I do think the Titans defense forced a couple turnovers from Davis Mills. And that's why I got the Titans winning this game 20-16 if C.J. Stroud doesn't play. But Justin, even if Stroud doesn't play, can the Texans bounce back this week and get to 8-6?
Now, I'm on the Titans as well. This 20-16. I think there's just been so many offensive weapons kind of go down. We saw Stroud go down last week. Tank Dell's out for the remainder of the year.
Dalton Schultz didn't play last week.
Yeah, Dalton Schultz, and I know he's still questionable for this week. Nico Collins is questionable, so they're pretty banged up, and I don't think they got the depth yet. They're off, you know, on both sides. So I think their defense will keep them in it against this Titans offense, which, yeah, like, you know, they you know, Will Levis kind of had that pick 6 there off the screen, you know, that was at his own like 5-yard line, but you know, so I think they'll make some plays offensively here. But yeah, with everything going on with Houston, I think Tennessee just does enough right now. I just think there's so many injuries right now with the Texans offense that Tennessee's able to get a turnover too, and they do enough to capitalize off of them, and they find a way to get a win at home.
Niners and Cardinals this week. I think this is a game. I know Kyler Murray's back, but I think this is a game where the Niners offense gets into the 30s. Brock Purdy throws a couple more touchdown passes. Christian McCaffrey is a big game on the ground. Niners have pretty much proven that they are the best team in the NFC. They continue to do that on Sunday, as I think they beat the Cardinals I think they double the Cardinals score. I got them beating the Cardinals 34-17. But Justin, can Kyler Murray have a great game and help the Cardinals get revenge from week 4?
No, I'm on the Niners as well, 27-17. Cardinals, they've been feisty. You know, Kyler Murray hasn't been horrible since coming back. He hasn't played that bad. So they're coming off a bye. I just, they've been really good at running the football this year, but I think that they're going to struggle against this Niners front. And, Marquise Brown in the first meeting had, his season high 96 yards, receiving yards. Him and Kyle Murray usually have a pretty good connection. So maybe he can, make a couple plays in this one and, hit some big plays and be able to kind of keep them in it. But I do think the Niners just do enough. I don't think the Cardinals defense can make enough stops in this one. I do have the Niners win by double digits.
Alrighty, the Rams take on the Commanders on Sunday, and I think the Rams are playing really, even though they lost last week, they're playing really well. They continue that, and I think they beat the Commanders by 2 scores. They get into the 30s. You got Kieran Williams. It's Kieran Williams back. That offense has been really good. Yeah, obviously Puka Nacua. If it wasn't for C.J. Stroud, he'd be the offensive rookie of the year. So I think the Rams get into the 30, and then I think they force Howell to turn the ball over a couple times and Washington's defense, they're not going to stop the Rams because Washington's defense is terrible and they're pathetic. Ron Rivera will probably be fired by the end of the season. And I got the Rams winning this one 31-17 over the Commanders. But Justin, is there any way that Sam Howell can lead the Rams to a crazy upset here?
I don't think so. I got the Rams 31-23. Yeah, for the Washington, 5 of the last 6 games they've given up at least 29 points. And that one they didn't was Patriots only were able to score 17 against them. So I could see Sam Howell making some plays, keeping it close because, the Rams defense isn't bad. It's in the middle of the pack so far right now in the NFL. So I see Howell making some plays through the air, kind of keeping it close. But you mentioned it with the way the Rams offense has been humming right now. Since Kyron Williams has come back, I think the Rams offense do whatever they want. I don't think Sam Howell's going to keep up enough in this one. And I do have the Rams winning 31-23.
All righty, so it should be an interesting week. It should be an interesting week 15 in the NFL. But we had a couple huge moves in baseball. Shohei picked his team, and the Yankees made a huge trade. But before we talk about that, we're going to hear from our friends at JPEG Financial and Shamrock Home Inspections.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut. There's no bigger investment. There's no bigger investment than home ownership. And to make sure the house is up to your standards, you need a professional to look it over. Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections is a licensed home inspector and a member of the Connecticut Association of Home Inspectors. Brian was a contractor for over 15 years, so he knows how homes should be constructed and how mechanicals should work.
What makes me a good home inspector was the 20 years that I was a home improvement person, doing all the different repairs that I have done and what other people have done wrong that I had to go out and fix. So I have a pretty quick eye on seeing what's right and what's wrong. Before you move, call Shamrock Home Inspections.
Before you make the biggest investment of your life, call Brian Flanagan from Shamrock Home Inspections at 860-268-2566 or visit shamrockhomeinspectionct.com.
All righty, so we had a big we had some big moves last week in Major League Baseball. And how about Shohei Ohtani? Shohei Ohtani has picked his team. He is signing with the Los Angeles. Staying home. He's staying in L.A. He's signing with the Dodgers. And the big question here for the Dodgers is, yes, the contract is ridiculous for Shohei Ohtani, but it got prorated. So it got like restructured. So and now he's making like $2 million a year. But but before we really get into that, we'll talk about what this means for the Dodgers. And the big question is are the Dodgers the favorite to win the World Series? Are the Dodgers the favorite to win the World Series? And I'm going to say no. I'm still going to go with the Braves because even though they're going to have Ohtani in that lineup, I think the Braves pitching is a little bit better. I think their lineup is still a little bit a little bit deeper too. So because the Dodgers have lost in the first round the last 2 years. The Dodgers haven't gotten to the NLCS the last 2 years. I know the Braves haven't, but they've ran into a buzzsaw with the Phillies. But I think that I'm going to say no. I'm not going to say they're the favorite to win the World Series, and I'm not going to say they're the favorite to win the National League either. I'm still gonna go with the Braves.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get the Braves, and I get the Phillies still ahead of them right now. I got them third.
Really? I would say they're ahead of the Phillies.
I think they will be by the end of winter about all this free agency stuff.
Oh yeah, we'll get to the other guy. We'll get to the other guy they have rumors to get.
Yeah, I don't like who's. I know they're supposed to have Walker Buehler back opening day, but who else do they have right now? I don't know who their number 2 starter is at the moment.
I know.
Like Bobby Miller. I don't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the pitching's definitely their Achilles heel.
Yeah. Again, I know they're in for Yamamoto. I know they're in for a Hater. I know. Sounds like they might be getting close to getting a trade with Tyler Glass now. Glass was another guy just can't stay healthy, unfortunately. It's good when he's healthy. So I'm with you. I trust that Braves rotation more at the moment, and I even kind of trust the Phillies a little bit more. I have them ranked a little bit higher right now. Yeah, the Ohtani signing is ridiculous. I know maybe he'll be back pitching next year. We'll see how the Tommy John goes. It'll be a second one, but I'm with you. I got the Braves, and I even got the Phillies ahead of the Dodgers right now. And again, that's probably going to change by the time of they made a couple signs, more trades here because with that $2 million only paying them a year, really opens things up.
It's gonna open. Yeah, it's definitely gonna open things up. They're lucky because if they were on the hook for that $70 million a year, they would be in big trouble. But yeah, the $2 million a year is definitely gonna open things up. And yeah, do I think the Dodgers will win some I think they'll win 2. I think they win at least 2 championships when Ohtani's there because of what they did with this contract. I think that is definitely an important part of it. But yeah, I mean, I think this is a huge signing for the Dodgers. I mean, I think it's huge. I think it's going to be. If you look at the ticket sales for opening day, they're humongous for them. So yeah, this is definitely gonna. I think it's good for baseball of Ohtani in a big market. Mm-hmm. And I know he played for the Angels, but he played for the second team in LA. Now he's playing for the big team in LA, and I think it's going to keep helping. The pitch clock didn't help in the World Series, but I think it helped him throughout the year. I think this is another good step for baseball to have Ohtani in a big market.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Because I know, again, I remember hearing, in July, listening to kind of from the Angels broadcasters, a couple like Angel podcasts, they're talking they got so many people that because it's Disneyland's out in Anaheim, so a lot of people kind of would come from Japan. They go to Disneyland, they go to Angel Stadium, go see Shohei. You saw the Japanese billboards they had or advertisements behind home plate, that. He's such a big international superstar over there in Japan, and now he played with the Angels, but the Angels were never part of the Fox kind of Saturday night game. Or they're never on Sunday Night Baseball. I don't think they were once this year.
I don't think so.
Maybe once or twice. I don't remember them. But
and the only reason they're thought of being on Sunday Night Baseball was because of Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani.
Yeah. They're not really good outside of that. So yeah, the Dodgers seem like they're always on there on Fox or ESPN. So yeah, I think it's going to be great, kind of for the casual baseball fan to kind of see him more regularly in national TV, and hopefully get him in the playoffs, and that would be huge for ratings. So yeah, I think out of marketing and all this for the Dodgers, the $700 million you're going to pay him is going to be worth it because you are getting an absolute, international kind of superstar because he's so beloved over in Japan, and baseball fans too kind of love watching him too, just the uniqueness that he's brought the last couple of years. And yeah, for him now to be more on a national stage, I think it's going to only help baseball.
Absolutely. I think it definitely will. But now we got to look at the Angels piece of this, and how dumb were they not to trade Ohtani at the trade deadline? They pretty much get nothing back for Shohei Ohtani. I think that was just a horrendous move by the Angels. I said it during the trade deadline. They should have traded Ohtani. What a horrendous move by the Angels not to trade Ohtani.
It was. I know I defended it, and I thought, yeah, you should kind of keep him around because of just the merchandise sales and just kind of, like people still kind of want to show up to the ballpark. The only thing is, what do they got for a package? Because that's the only thing, like, unless they got a couple of MLB guys who are ready and kind of been established, which would have been tough to get for a rental. They could have got the 6 best prospects in anybody's organization, and maybe one of those guys pan out to be a regular day major league player. The rest of them may never touch the major league. So that's the only thing. It's like, if they do trade them and none of those prospects become anything, then we're all ridiculing the Angels like that trade was so bad for LA. So that's the thing. Like, whoever that draft pick, that the contestatory pick or whatever it is, that the Angels are going to get now, yeah, you better hope it's a home run, player. But, so I could see both. It looks bad now that they didn't trade him, but I could understand it if they didn't get their package that they didn't want and none of those guys turn out. They get ridiculed anyways. It kind of feels like a lose-lose situation if you're the Angels.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. Because, even if you had traded him, people are like saying, why would you not try to attempt to resign Ohtani? But now you see what went on. They weren't able to resign him. And it was pretty much, you're right. It was a lose-lose situation for them.
Yeah, it was. So I get it. I get both sides, but yeah, it's kind of, I understand the business side of it too, where, you still got people buying his jerseys when he was in LA, and those ballparks until he got hurt, you still got a pretty good crowd in LA. And if he was gone in July, you wouldn't have had that because Trout got hurt too there. We shouldn't help either.
Absolutely. But going back to Ohtani signing with the Dodgers, great for baseball that he's in a big market, that he's going to be playing in the postseason. Because we've never seen Ohtani in the postseason. That just shows you that one player can't really carry your team in baseball. Because it's the NBA or the NFL. You got a great quarterback in the NFL, you're at least getting to the playoffs. You got you see that with Patrick Mahomes this year in the Chiefs. You got a superstar in the NBA. You're definitely getting to the playoffs. We've never, and in the 6 years he's been in, this will be the seventh year. In the 6 years he's been playing, we've never seen Ohtani in the playoffs. So I'm happy we're gonna be able to see Ohtani in the playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely. It's gonna be fun to kind of finally get to see him, kind of get in the postseason spotlight. Yeah, playing with the Dodgers, who are going to be one of the favorites. They've gotten 100 wins every year. That they won that division last year by 16 games. It's probably be close to 20 this year, but. Yeah, so it's going to be fun to watch him. Finally get to kind of see him in the postseason and finally kind of, again, and it's going to be great for the sport of baseball for the casual ones that, haven't really got to see him a lot because, he's not on national TV as we talked about. So, yeah, it's great for the sport of baseball.
It definitely is. It definitely is. So we will move on to the Yankees. And last week, right after we got off the air, the Yankees traded for Juan Soto, and all they really gave up was Michael King. So they didn't give up Dominguez, they didn't give up Wells. So really, really good trade for the Yankees there. I think the big question is with him now in this lineup. Hopefully, you get a healthy Rizzo, you get a healthy Stanton. You got Judge in that lineup now, so that'll be a pretty good middle of the order, especially with Judge and Soto. Knowing Soto's a lefty, Judge and Soto will be hitting back to backs. If you get Judge, Soto, and Stanton, that's a really, really good. Stanton I know hasn't been able to stay healthy, but if these guys can somehow stay healthy in this lineup will be much improved than what it was last year. And the big question is are the Yankees a playoff team? Do the Yankees get in the playoffs with this move? And I say absolutely. I think I don't know if they're better than the Rays or the Orioles, but I think they're definitely better than the Blue Jays. They're obviously better than the Red Sox. They're better than anyone in the Central. And I think they are going to be one of the playoff teams going into next year. I think the Yankees will make the playoffs next year because of this move.
Yeah, they should. You worry about kind of the health. Stan hasn't been healthy. I know Soto played all 162 games last year. I don't think the Yankees are going to allow him to do that this year. Judge, I know he kind of had the foot problem there, and that was kind of a wacky situation running a wall there. So, you hope he stays on the field as well because he was such an impact guy. And I think the thing that helps him too is Judge too, like he didn't really have anybody consistently behind him last year where you're really terrified of. And now that you have Juan Soto, now he's going to have to see better pitches because if you do walk him, now you got Soto up with a guy on. So that I think is going to help Judge out as well, which I think is going to be big. And it was great to get Soto because, look, they have not had too many lefty hitters the last couple. They've had Rizzo, Gallo stunk, and they've been looking for a left fielder for 2 years, and and they finally got one, and he's gonna be fun to watch, and excited to see him and Aaron Judge, hit back to back. Is gonna be a lot of fun, and makes like the first inning especially kind of must watch.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, it'd definitely be fun to see those guys in that lineup. And the next question is for the Yankees. Should they be the favorites to win the AL East? I think they got to improve that rotation. They got to improve the rotation because behind Cole, you have Rodon, you got Schmidt, you got Cortez, but Rodon and Cortez missed a lot of time last year. Depth in the rotation was outside of the lineup. Depth in the rotation was definitely a weakness for that Yankee team. Now, Garrett Cole his best season as a Yankee last year, but depth in the rotation was definitely an issue for the Yankees last year. So I definitely think that I think they'll be a playoff team, but I can't say they should be the favorite to win the AL East unless they make another move, which we'll get to the guy who they're rumored to get as well. But I don't think they are I don't think they're the favorite to win the AL East. I'm still going to give that to Baltimore or Tampa. Probably give it to Baltimore right now.
Yeah, I'm with you. I got Baltimore ahead of the Yankees right now. I know Baltimore won't have this year their stud closer. Having Tommy John,
but they got Craig Kimbrell.
Yeah, Kimbrell. Which I don't love. Haters from Maryland, like he probably would have signed in Baltimore.
I know
they should have gone after him. Again, that's another issue that Baltimore's got to unfortunately face. So I got Baltimore still ahead of them. Most of that team's coming back, and I'm with you. I still worry about that rotation because outside of Cole, Rodon wasn't healthy last year. Cortez had 2 shoulder injuries last year. Schmidt was good, but like he ain't going more than 5 innings, so that eats into your bullpen. Luis Gil had Tommy John 2 last year. He's probably got a guy that's gonna, things go well at spring training. I think he's kind of on track to be back this year. Like he's maybe your fifth. He's probably gonna have to be your 5th guy, and he's looked good at times, but we'll see kind of what happens there. But I'm with you. It's kind of the rotation. It's still very concerning to me at the moment.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely is. It's the biggest concern. Right now, it's the biggest concern because the bullpen, even though they lost Michael King, is still good. The lineup should definitely be improved with Soto. Yeah, the pitching is definitely going to be the big weakness. The big weakness, and this leads us to our next question. We got Yamamoto out there as a free agent. Is Yamamoto next for the Yankees? Is he next? Will Yamamoto be next? And I think the way Cashman has been willing to make moves this offseason, I know it's close between them and the Mets, but I think he outbids Cohen, and I think he gets Yamamoto. I think he was so tired of the season yet. Cashman was so upset about the season they had last year. I think they go out and get Yamamoto. I think Yamamoto does go to the Yankees.
I'm very torn right now. I do think the Mets, he probably ends up, I'm going to say he ends up with the Mets. Just because the Mets need so much help too, where I don't, like, unless for some reason the Mets outbid him and he really wants to be a Yankee, which I've heard. I don't know if he's a Yankee fan, but he likes kind of the Yankees kind of success, kind of always striving for greatness, kind of, World Series or bust mentality. Because I guess that's the type of guy he is. Like, and he thrives in those kind of opportunities. So maybe even the Mets outbid him. Maybe he ends up still coming into play for the Yankees. But, I think I just think the Mets, and I think even the Dodgers are still in play for him too.
Oh, they are. I think it's the Yankees, the Mets, and Dodgers are the top 3.
Yeah, so like Dodgers could sneak in there. Now they got all that money, and with Ohtani, I think it's be tough. But again, he seems like a stud. The only thing I worry about with him is he's 5'10". Like I feel like it could be like Tim Lincecum. That guy was on first class trip to the Hall of Fame, and then his arm just failed him. That's the only thing I worry about. Like after 4 or 5 years, is his arm going to be able to hold up, or is he going to be like another Tim Lincecum and he's just unpitchable? That's the only concern with him.
Yeah, exactly. But I'll tell you, whatever team gets him, if the Mets get him, even though they lost they were one of their young third base Marinaccio, they would have a chance. They'd have a chance to get to the playoffs. If the Dodgers get him, that would even probably elevate them to maybe the favorite to win the World Series. And if the Yankees get him, I think we might have to revisit that AL East conversation because they would definitely get closer to being the favorite to win the AL East.
Yeah, they absolutely would, because that's the number 2. And if Rodon can get anywhere near where he was in San Francisco, That's a great 1-2-3 punch. Cortez is a free agent after next season, which could be a concern. But like if he could kind of return to the guy he was a couple years ago, that's an awesome 1-2-3-4. And Clark Schmidt is a fine. Like if he's the number 5, I'll take that any day of the week. So yeah, it would, again, all those guys gotta stay healthy, but it would be nice. And I know the other rumor too, which I know originally he's supposed to, like people thought 150 to 200 million he was going to get. Now it sounds like he's going to get up to 300 million. Wow. It's going to be a lot of money. So, hopefully the Yankees do land him, but yeah, they could somehow get him. Yeah. They're going to be right there. One of the favorites right there with Baltimore for the AL East favorite.
Absolutely. They'll be right there with the Orioles if they get Yamamoto. But that is going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For Justin D'Onofrio, I am Steve Risser. We will be back next week talking about Week 16 in the NFL, and we'll be talking about the Christmas Day games in the NBA. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley, and Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.